Wes's sewing machine repair. Just wanted to do a lean video walkthrough of my workspace here. Just to show you the various efficiencies that I've got built in. Yes, that is a chair from a 92 Oldsmobile, in fact, but that's a topic for a different video. Anyway, so here's my workbench. This here is my turntable and anti-scratch mechanism. So I put the machine on there, it just barely fits, and then I'm able to turn and twist the machine without lifting, without struggling. Plus, my mother-in-law is a quilter. I actually just found this thing. It happened to be just the right size and saved me $200 from buying an ESD turntable. My lighting system here really sucks. I gotta get a better light. This thing, since I moved it into this new place, the light always wants to fall off, so I'm definitely gonna have to get a different light. I've got 4 magnetic bowls here with them labeled sides, front, bottom, top. That's for screws that I take out. So if I had to take the screws out the sides, there's a lot of different kind of screws, and sometimes you don't always know where they came from when you take them out. So this helps me keep them organized. Keeps them from slopping and flying all around if the bowl gets bumped. And you know, I try to keep the screws actually in the frames, the plastic pieces of the sewing machine, so that I don't have to put them in here, because if I can keep them in the same hole, that's even better, but sometimes it's not always possible. So that's that. I've got this power strip kind of sitting here so that when I have a machine, I can just pop it in right there. Just above my workbench, I've mounted this board to the wall with a magnetic strip. I have really only the bare essentials on here. So I have my alcohol for cleaning. I have my grease that I've put in a syringe. I'll do a different video on that. And then I've got my clear sewing machine oil here, all right within arm's reach. I've got the 2 most common hex screws that I use. Just drilled a hole in there. Well, that's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna have to sort that out. I've got my 2 most common screwdrivers here. Hammer, yeah, that's not not exactly for the sewing machine repairers, but sometimes you gotta resort to extremes. I change out sewing machine needles on every machine, so I put the needles in there. There's a hole in the top. I've got in here a deburring stone, and there's also another tool in there as well. And let's just take a look in there. This is a fragile sharpening stone. If it were to get dropped or shaken around, it very well could break. So Kaizen foam holds it securely in place. I can drop this thing, I could chuck it against the wall. That thing ain't gonna break. My other tool is a sewing machine needle that's been modified, but Kaizen foam for the win. I've got my small screwdriver set here, all within reach. I'm hoping that's not going to fall off. I got the Allen wrenches kind of holding that up. The Allen wrenches are very multi-purpose. For one, they've got the ball end on them, so you can use them at different angles. They also double as gauges, because rather than have a whole new set of gauges, you can really just use these for those very small tolerance measurements. So yeah, hugely valuable there. Got my scissors, my pipe cleaners for cleaning in between the tension discs and other places, and the oil ports and stuff. I've got my sort of spool caps here, and then I got to figure out a way to hang up my threads so that when I'm threading a machine, a lot of times customers don't have their own thread when they bring it to me, so I've got to have something to test the bobbin winder and all that. So I have one empty one so that I can transfer this bobbin onto the empty one when I transfer, or when I test the bobbin winder, so it's quick and efficient. I've got one empty one, and then I can just switch that thread that way, and then a full bobbin here with these nice little bobbin clips on there to keep the thread from unwinding. But I'm going to mount those up here as well, so they're right within arm's reach when I need them. And directly to my left, I have just some other more immediate tools that I need. My cleaners for Q-tips, my cotton pads, my sandpaper, my plastic pry bars for getting the plastic pieces apart, and also these are handy for a lot of times sewing machines have tape on them, like goopy old tape, and you spray a little alcohol on them, and then you can use this as kind of a, you know, you can scrape the tape off with these. That's pretty handy. I've got my fabric here for doing a sew out test. Notepad here. Got my two clear so I can see through them. These were tackle boxes that I've labeled for bobbins and needles. And that's it. The rest of the shelf I was able to clear off. So here's where my laptop usually sits. I can order parts. I can look up service manuals. This is my actual service manual here for looking up technical stuff that I need. So as I'm taking a sewing machine apart, I have multiple plastic pieces from the exterior. As I'm taking them apart, all I have to do is swivel in my chair, scoot forward, and then I just deposit them sort of left to right so I know what order I've taken them apart in, and then putting it back together is that much easier. And I don't have to move but a foot in order to do that. So that's what this table's for, is for the plastic shell as I take it apart. This is my home tool bag here for any extra tools I may need. Trying to work that out of the system because this workspace might eventually migrate somewhere else. So again, this shelf is all like stuff I need immediately. I can reach it without even moving my chair. This shelf is longer term tool or less frequently used tools up here that I need, but all I have to do is swivel in my chair and scoot about a foot forward and I can reach most of it. Most of this stuff I don't need. All the stuff I do need is within arm's reach. All the stuff I don't need is up out of the way. Because every little ounce of energy that you expend, multiply it times 1,000. And even though it seems little, you do it so many times a day that it becomes exhausting. So all I have to do is scoot forward. Eventually, maybe I won't even have to scoot forward. The only problem is this outlet is in the way. Otherwise, I'd have this thing a little bit closer. But at least I don't even have to stand. I can just scoot forward a little bit, grab what I need. I usually don't need this stuff anyway, but if I do, it's right here. So this shelf, actually, I just moved it from over there. And because I haven't even worked in this yet, I can tell that would be even easier if I moved these boxes down here. So as soon as I'm done with this video, that's what I'm gonna do. This is my prototype work apron. I sewed in magnets. You can see that rectangular magnet there. And then my most commonly used tools like my tweezer, my needle plate, removing screwdriver, this little bit that I use to take off the needle plates, and my thread snips. I have those all stuck to my chest so that, see, what ends up happening is your whole work table will just fill up with tools while you're working on a machine. And what you really want to do is just keep all your tools off of the table. That's why I have this, to keep everything up off the table and attached to my chest when possible. I have been working with this now for a while, and none of this stuff has ever fallen off. These are some really strong magnets and I love it. The only real problem is I'm gonna use a thicker fabric, because you can see when I hang it up, the magnets all suck together. It's not a problem when I'm wearing it, but when it's hanging here, I think a stiffer fabric would keep the magnets apart. And I've just got that hanging there right where I need it. So the cleaner it is, the cleaner you can keep it. I can easily brush off all of this into my trash bin down here after every job. I can also see if I've missed anything and prevent the defect of returning the customer's machine without something that was supposed to be there, like their foot pedal, their cord, their thread, or screws that were supposed to go back into the machine. So I already mentioned that everything is within arm's reach. This is a very nice and efficient U-shaped cell. opportunities for improvement. I need to find a way to get a lot more light in that corner. I also need to find a way to get this air compressor hose so that it is hanging within arm's reach right up here in this corner. And then all I have to do is just grab it, use it, set it back up here. It'll hang there, and that'll be super efficient. The work is trickling in. So I hope you found some valuable insights from there. I appreciate everything everybody else has shared from the Lean group. That has helped me build Lean into this business right from the bottom up. This workspace may not be my workspace for very long, but the more organized it is and the less crap I have in it, the easier it will be to move locations. So thanks, guys.